Yeehaw, I got snake eyes.
Swing your razor wide, Sweeney, hold it to the sky. Sweeney pulls the blood of those who are alive.
What the hell is happening?
Today we're building one of my favorite musically inclined villains, Sweeney Todd, also known as Benjamin Barker. Based on the Penny Dreadfuls back in the 1840s, now having been adapted into a musical that's been performed over the last several decades all over the world. Either as a stage play, a musical, or a full-on movie adaptation, Sweeney has a long, bloody history of overtaking the stage with his presence and turning people into meat pies. Our goals for this build are pretty simple. First, we need to be a barber. Easy enough. B, we need to be able to put people in vulnerable positions in which we can get our slice on, hopefully killing them in a single swing of our razor. And 3, we gotta sing. And I don't mean hum a hymn, we need to carry a tune, blast our bass. We need to have a musical legacy that spans over 50 years. For ancestry, Sweeney is a human, so we're that. We get 8 hit points at creation. We're a size medium creature, we get a speed of 25 feet. For ability boost, we get 2 free ones as a human, put them in charisma and dexterity, and take 2 flaws and put in your constitution and your strength for a boost we can put into our intelligence. Sweeney's not a very strong man, and spoiler alert, he gets got pretty easily. He's not that tough. For our human feat, get know oneself. When you critically fail on a saving throw against an emotion effect, you can instead fail on that save instead. Sweeney isn't one to allow anyone to manipulate him with feelings, because he really doesn't have any except for rage. For our heritage, I would pick versatile heritage, in which we get a general feat. I would pick adopted ancestry and pick goblin, because that'll be helpful later on. For background, we're a barber, of course. We pick 2 ability boosts. One must be dexterity or wisdom, and 1 is a free boost. We'll put them both in dexterity and wisdom. You're trained in medicine skill and surgery lore skill, and you also gain the risky skill. You also gain the risky surgery skill feat. When you treat wounds, you can deal 1d8 slashing damage to your patient just before applying the effects of treat wounds. If you do, you gain a +2 circumstance bonus to your medicine check to treat wounds. If you roll success, you get critical success instead. Again, it's risky, and this barber is more like a Civil War barber where they've doubled over as doctor, but, you know, a barber's a barber, no matter where you are. This, of course, leads into our class, and our class is going to be a rogue. You're an expert in perception, you're trained in fortitude, expert in reflex, and expert in will saves. You get 8 hit points plus your constitution every level, which means we're going to be capping out at 7 health every level, which is not great if you're a frontline fighter, but Sweeney isn't, so that's great. For skills, you're trained in stealth, you're trained in 1 more skills determined by your thieves racket. It's going to be thievery, spoiler alert. You're also trained in a number of skills equal to 7 plus your intelligence modifier. So it's 9. Pick performance, religion, deception, occultism, society, nature, intimidation, survival, and arcana. Whether it's George Hearn or Johnny Depp, it's important to have a strong footing in both performance and intimidation. For attacks, you're trained in simple weapons as well as the rapier, sap, short bow, and short sword. You're also trained in unarmed attacks, which is fine because he's not going to be using any of that. He's going to be using a dagger, or a razor in this case. For defenses, you're trained in light armor and armor defense, and for our class DC, we're trained in the rogue class DC. For our ability boost at the first level, put in dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Get used to it because every ability boost is going to be putting into those 4 specific ability scores. We have here listed a number of skills from your 2nd to 6th level, your 7th to 14th, and your 15th to 20th, because rogues get a lot of skill increases, and I really want to focus on things that are important to Sweeney, such as performance, diplomacy, stealth, deception, society, and intimidation. So he can understand the world of London, he can lie, he can cheat, he can steal, he can scare, and of course he can sing. For our feats, you'll see a number of them still labeled in the 1st level to the 6th, 7th to the 14th, 15th to the 20th, all focusing on being scary, being a great performer, being able to lie, and to be scary. Which of course leads us to our 1st level gains, which is our rogue bracket, and we're going to be a thief. When you attack with finesse melee weapon, you can add your dexterity modifier to damage rolls instead of your strength modifier. Shaving people is a lot more about finesse than British strikes, I believe. You're trained in thievery, of course, but we mentioned that earlier, and you also get a surprise attack on the first round of combat if you roll deception or stealth for initiative. Creatures who haven't acted yet are flat-footed to you, which is great because if you roll deception or stealth, you should be ready to start shaving people at a moment's notice. Speaking of shaving, let's talk about the main reason why we picked Rogue for Sweeney Todd, and that's because of sneak attack. You strike a creature with a flat-footed condition with an agile finesse melee weapon or an armed attack, or a ranged attack, and they deal 1d6 extra precision damage. This is great because Sweeney is all about that finesse damage and that precision damage. A simple swipe to the throat is going to cause a lot of damage, especially if you know what you're doing. For a rogue feat, get your next, attempt an intimidation check with a +2 circumstance bonus to demoralize a single creature that you see and they can see you. If you have legendary proficiency in intimidation, you can use it as a free action with the same trigger. So, you know, scare people. That's what he does best. And of course, beat people to death with pots. At our 2nd level, for our rogue feat, let's get quick draw. You can interact draw weapon and strike with that weapon. Flicking your friend out and then slicing someone's throat is a pretty standard move for Sweeney Todd. At our 3rd level, we get deny advantage. You're on flat-footed to hidden, undetected, or flanking creatures of your level or lower, or creatures of your level or lower trying to use sneak attack. However, they can use allies to still flank. For a general feat, get incredible initiative, get a +2 circumstance bonus to initiative rolls. At our 4th level, we get a rogue feat, get Dread Striker. Any creature that's a fright condition is also flat-footed against your attacks. Sweeney is all about scaring and intimidating people. At our 5th level, ability boost, put him in Dexterity, Wisdom, Intelligence, Charisma. Ancestry's feat, Go Goblin and Go Goblin Song. Attempt performance check against the will DC of a single enemy within 30 feet. Has all the usual traits and restrictions for performance check. You can affect up to 2 people with Expert Proficiency, 4 with Master, and 8 of Legendary. On critical success, the targets take a -1 penalty perception checks and will saves for 1 minute. On a normal success, it's just for that round. On a critical failure, you can't use it again for 1 hour. Your sneak attack boosts up to 2d6 instead of 1d6 now, dealing more damage. Weapon tricks, you gain expert proficiency in simple weapons and armed attacks, as well as rapier, sap, short bow, and short sword. And when you critically succeed on an attack roll against a flat-footed creature while using an agile finesse weapon or any of the other listed weapons, you gain the critical specialization of that weapon you're wielding. That means with the dagger, you're dealing 1d6 bleeding damage, which is great because people tend to bleed a lot with Sweeney. For our 6th level rogue feat, get Analyze Weakness. After you identify a creature with Recall Knowledge, the next time you deal sneak attack damage to the chosen creature with a strike before the end of this turn, add 2d6 persistent damage on top of your sneak attack. At the 11th and 17th levels, if you gain additional damage from sneak attack, which we will, increase the damage by 1d6, so 3d6 at 11, 4d6 at 17, dealing even more damage with your shiny friends. At our 7th level, we get Evasion. Your rank and reflex saves increase to Master. When you roll a success on our reflex save, you get critical success instead. For general feat, get Untrained Improvisation. Your proficiency bonus when using untrained skill checks is now equal to your level instead of it being 0. This doesn't allow you to use the skill's trained actions though. Vigilant Senses, your rank and perception increase up to Master. Weapon Specialization, you deal 2 additional damage to weapons and armor attacks in which you're an expert in. You deal an additional 3 damage if you're a master in them. At our 8th level, we get a Rogue feat, get Twisted Knife. You deal persistent bleed damage to the target equal to the number of sneak attack damage dice. At our 9th level, Ancestral feat, get Loud Singer from Goblin. The range of your Goblin song is increased to 60 feet, and you can target 1 additional target when you use it. You also get Debilitating Strike at this level. Debilitating Strike is a free action that you get when your strike hits a flat-footed creature and it deals damage. You can apply one of the following debilitations to it that lasts until the end of your next turn. Debilitation can be a -10 of foot speed or Enfeeblement 1. You also get Greater Fortitude. Your Fortitude saves increases up to Expert. At our 10th level, we get Ability Boost from Dexterity, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. For our Rogue feat, get Precise Debilitation. You can add the following debilitations to the list you can choose from when you use Debilitating Strike. The first one can be 2d6 persistent damage from your attacks, or the target becomes flat-footed. At level 11, get a General feat, get the Fleet, so it can be the Demon Borrower Fleet Street with a land speed increase to up to 30 feet. Rogue Expertise, your rank and Rogue class DC increase up to Expert, and you get 3d6 sneak attack damage now. At level 12, get a Rogue feat, get Blade Debilitation. You can add the following debilitation to the list you can choose from and use Debilitating Strike, and that it being deal 3d6 persistent bleed damage. Spooky level 13, you get Gloomseer. For our Ancestry feat, you gain Low Light Vision, Improved Evasion. Your rank and reflex saves increase with the Legendary. When you roll a critical failure on a reflex save, you get a failure instead. Failure on a reflex save against a damaging effect, you take half damage instead. Credible Senses, your perception increases with the Legendary. Nothing gets past Sweeney Todd. Light Armor Expertise, your ranks in armor and unarmored defense increase with the Expert. Master Tricks, your rank in all simple weapons and armed attacks, including the rapier, sap, shortbow, and short sword, increases up to Master. At our 14th level, we'll get Instant Opening for our Rogue feat. Choose a target within 30 feet. It's now flat-footed against your attacks until the end of your next turn. Depending on the way you describe your distraction, this action either has the auditory or visual trait. Start singing and dancing. There we go. At level 15, you get Ability Boost from Dexterity, Wisdom, Intelligence, and Charisma. Double Debilitation. When you use Debilitating Strike, you can now apply 2 debilitations simultaneously. However, ruining one removes the other. Make the 2 the bleeding one and persistent extra damage. Get bloody and get crazy. General feat, get Canny Acumen to get Fortitude up to Master at level 17. Great Weapon Specialization, do damage from your weapon specialization increases to 4 weapons, armed attacks in which you're expert in, 6 if you're a master. At level 16, you get Critical Debilitations. Whenever you critically succeed in an attack roll against an enemy and use Debilitating Strike, you can add the following debilitation to the list you can choose from. Debilitation, however, the target attempts a Fortitude save against your class DC with the following effects. For success, the target's unaffected. Success, slowed 1 until the end of your next turn. Failure, slowed 2 until the end of your next turn. Critical failure, the target is paralyzed until the end of your next turn. Level 17, Ancestry feat, get Dark Seer, is going to get Dark Vision. It's dark in London. Slippery Mind, your rank and will saves increase with the Master. Again, roll success in a will save, get critical success instead. Sneak attack is now 4d6. Level 18, get Dispelling Strike from Rogue feat. Make a strike against a flat-footed creature. If your strike deals sneak attack damage, you can attempt to counteract a single spell active on the target. Your choice. Your counteract level is equal to half your level, rounded up, of course, and your counteract check modifier is equal to your class DC at a -10. Just in case Judge Turpin is secretly Severus Snape moonlighting as a judge. Man, that made Harry Potter so much darker. I mean, yeah. Level 19, get a Journal feat, get Die Hard. You die the dying condition 5 instead of 4. Light armor mastery, your ranks in light armor and armor defense increase up to master. Master strike, your rank in your rogue class DC increases up to master, and you gain the master strike free action. This triggers when your strike hits a flat-footed creature and deals damage. Target makes a fortitude save against your class DC. It becomes temporarily immune to DC. It becomes temporarily immune to your master strike for 1 day. However, on a critical success, unaffected. Success, enfeeble 2 until the end of your next turn. Failure, the target is paralyzed for 4 rounds. Critical failure, the target is paralyzed for 4 rounds, knocked unconscious for 2 hours, or flat out killed. It's your choice. Personally, I pick kills for Sweeney. At the 20th level, we get our last ability boost, put in Dexterity, Wisdom, Intelligence, and Charisma. Going for our last Rogue feat, honestly, I can't think of any of these high-level feats working for Sweeney. So, grab Fly Striker, I guess. When you succeed or critically succeed at a strike against a creature that isn't flat-footed, you deal 1d6 precise damage. This applies only to a weapon using an armed attack, which you deal sneak attack damage with. Level 14, you can increase to 2d6. So, you can do that now, I guess. Good job. But with all that being said, do you want to be the Demon Barber of Fleet Street? Let's talk about your deception. You aren't going to be caught despite everyone going missing on your street, being last seen in your barbershop, and you keep sharing about how the world is full of people who are filled with, well, yeah, eccentric musings for a madman. No one will suspect you. Now let's talk about sneak attack, the big reason why we picked Rogue for our class. When the stars align, Benjamin can deal, within 1 round, 12d6 from sneak, 8d6 from allies weakness, 6d6 from a debilitation, and 3d4 from our knife, and plus 18 dexterity and plus 18 great weapon mastery for a low of 65 and a high of 204. Hell, even high-level monsters are felled in a single round of combat by you. Judge Turpin is at worst an actual judge with a -1 humanoid, or at best a level 4 mastermind made to be a judge. Killing him should be easy, but getting him in the room is going to be the hardest part. Also, his feats are great because they're full of charisma-based interactions, with lots of ways to parlay, dissuade, and intimidate anyone he needs to. You're also a master performer, with skills and feats making you capable of running away from the barbershop life and pursuing a life on the stage. But you're not here to run away, you're here because there's no place like London. Chart a path that few have drawn, have an epiphany, and swing your razor wide. Sweeney, hold it to the skies. Attend the tale of Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Just watch out for your low health pool. It'd be really embarrassing if you got killed by a child. Oh boy. Oh well. Roll up a new character.